Both coaches feel like this is a much different Notre Dame team now. They have a lot of juice, and Hidalgo has been the best player in this tournament thus far. And here we go with a trip to the Final Four on the line.
You see Notre Dame starting out in a man-to-man. Hannah Hidalgo, the menace defensively, starts out on Ashlyn Shade.
Fudd does not get the roll, and then Hidalgo able to swipe away the rebound and win the possession for Notre Dame.
UConn starts out in man-to-man. KK Arnold on Hannah Hidalgo. This is a UConn team that will switch 1 through 5.
De Jesus kicks it out. Prosper looking for some help. Coles gives it back, and Prosper lays it in.
Really nice interior passing between the bigs for Notre Dame. When they can get into the paint and establish themselves inside, they can be very tough defensively.
You see Prosper's numbers in the tournament, 15 points per game, 53% from the floor. Here is Shade finding Sarah Williams for the layup and the foul. And an early personal on Malaya Coles.
And finish absorbing a smidge of contact to get the and one opportunity.
Connecticut has won 53 straight games. They've won those games by an average of 36.5 points per. Only one of those games decided by single digits. It came earlier this year against Michigan. Michigan will face Texas tomorrow here in the Elite Eight. Coles saving it and knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Notre Dame.
Interesting to see Notre Dame these last 2 possessions.
It's a player that shot it at 41% a season ago from 3. A deep one here, way off the mark for Moore as that tilts out of bounds. Moore shot it around 40% from 3 on the season, but in that Sweet 16 matchup against her former team, went 0 for 8 from 3.
And in the first 2 rounds of the tournament, 7 of 14, so it was just against Vanderbilt where she really struggled with her stroke. See Notre Dame playing way off of Sarah Williams, not worried about her from the perimeter.
Fudd, little pull-up, he's good. Azzi Fudd, who has been excellent in this tournament, knocks down the mid-range. Gisela Sanchez into the game, specifically her senior year when so much of the talent around her had left. Hidalgo kicks, De Jesus connects on a big 3. Notre Dame going to need that from De Jesus. And they were 1 for 17 in the Sweet 16 against Vandy. Fudd dishes, Strong drops it out of bounds to Notre Dame. And there's the struggles you were talking about from Notre Dame in that game at UConn on January 19th. Hidalgo wiggling, fading, can't get the roll. Strong the box out. Arnold the fling ahead. Quiñonez will lay it in.
That's what you should use.
I agree. If you use Hannah Hidalgo steals, you can get up to a high number. Second 30-point triple-double in tournament history. Caitlin Clark with the other in 2023. And the second triple-double ever with steals in the tournament. Tisha Penichero, the legend, with the other. Quiñonez off the miss. Quiñonez is a freight train in transition.
One of the many things that makes this freshman so special.
Geno Auriemma talking about how she has a little bit of reckless abandon in her game, and when things are going good, it can turn into amazing. Sometimes when things are going bad, it can get out of control, but she's played with a fearlessness in this tournament as a freshman. You see how historically good she's been out of the gates, at least 15 points in each of these first 3 games.
If she had played more minutes and had gaudier numbers, she, without question, would have been one of the front runners for National Freshman of the Year.
Strong off the steal. Strong can't lay it in, but is fouled.
And it doesn't mean a player has to shoot the ball every time they touch it, but Sarah Strong should be involved in it with a touch on the majority of the UConn quarter-court possessions.
Strong hits the first free throw. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, mentioning Sarah Strong and her lack of touches here early, Geno Auriemma just addressed that in the huddle with his teammate. He's aware of that. He keeps looking at them saying, why can't you get it to her? He wants her more involved right here.
There you go, Holly. Kaylee Heckel into the game for UConn. Huskies on a 6-0 run. Hidalgo yet to score. KK Bransford into the game for Notre Dame. She was not healthy and available for the first meeting between these teams as Cole, wow,
meter on this? How many seconds? Does this just sit on the rim? Nice lefty hook, and then...
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Incredible.
I thought Oz the Mentalist had entered the building. Sabelle in, Quiñonez connects. Now, before this year, she had put up monster numbers in her first 2 career meetings against Connecticut. An average 31.5 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. And that is going to be a 3-second violation as Notre Dame, 4th turnover for the Irish. Neil Ivey told us her number 1 key in this game was fight, that they were going to have to fight for 40 minutes. Thought it was helpful. They had seen UConn earlier this season. As Strong muscles in and banks it home.
Especially when she gets on the right side of the basket and go to her strong right hand. She is very good at absorbing contact with the shoulder and still finishing with the soft touch.
Coles looking for Hidalgo, finding her. Hidalgo yet to score. Off to Prosper. Prosper finds an angle and lays it in. It was Prosper with that game-winning layup off the Hidalgo pass to beat Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16.
Prosper can score for Notre Dame in the mid-range, around the basket as well.
Strong dealing with the pressure of Prosper. Zabel kicking. Quiñonez again. Blanca Quiñonez owning the first quarter of the Elite Eight.
But it's the penetrate that leads to the kick in terms of getting 2 feet in the paint to drawing the defender to give Quiñonez the good look.
18-9, UConn in front. De Jesus finds Coles who will lay it in. Great look. In the corner, Quiñonez will drive it. The reverse lay, way off. Hidalgo collects. 8 seconds left. Hidalgo in some trouble. Fudd comes up with it, and Quiñonez will lay it in. And that'll end the first. 12 for Blanca Quiñonez, the freshman for UConn.
And the variety of ways in which she did it, not only hitting the threes, getting out in transition, getting into the paint, scoring. She's just been stellar in her first NCAA tournament.
That's the most points she scored in a quarter this season, and it comes in the biggest moment of the season thus far for UConn. Here's Strong, kicking it out, getting it back, doubled, looking for help. Finding it in shade. Quiñonez will fire. No, missed that one. Arnold the rebound. Gets it back to Quiñonez. Fudd nearly threw it away and did. It's Notre Dame basketball. They have certainly done their job on the defensive end thus far against Hidalgo and Notre Dame.
She just drew 3. 3 again.
Hidalgo forcing it up and in. Plus the foul. And now you see the animation from Hidalgo. Does that get her going?
Holy cow. A dribble penetration. She gets feet in the paint. 3 defenders on her. There's 3 here. Then she turns and 3 again. And yet she's still able to hit the shot and get to the free throw line. A player at her size, what she is able to do on both ends of the floor. I can't think of a comp for her in the women's game.
5-6. Misses that free throw. Quiñonez, the rebound. Neil Ivey says she is a dog. These are her moments. She's built for this stage. As that's knocked out of bounds by De Jesus. Met nicely by Moore. Fudd. Trying to find space. Cannot. Williams knocked away by Hidalgo, and at last touched Arnold. And again, Notre Dame sagging off of Williams, and it played a role in that turnover. You see Hidalgo slapping it away, and it deflecting last off of Arnold.
Smart defensive game plan from Notre Dame.
Here's Hidalgo. Hidalgo Spinning, floating, can't hit, follows it up, and puts it in.
Remarkable. 5'7", and she draws multiple defenders, but doesn't get boxed out and just able to finish and knows she can't come down and then go back up with it because it could get blocked by Sarah Strong. So instead, catches and finishes in one motion.
4 points in the second after not scoring in the first. Here's Fudd, the leaner is true. At that guard position when you exchange Arnold for Quiñonez. Bransford bodies in, and Sarah Strong was having none of it.
For UConn, an area of growth certainly for her last year to this year. Terrific defense and block firing up her team.
On pace to be the first player since 2012 to average over 3 steals and 1.5 blocks. 6 to shoot. Bransford trying to create. Bransford gets denied. It's Strong again. And at last hits Notre Dame.
Keep in mind, this is a Sarah Strong with 2 fouls, and still she's able to control her body and use her hands. 1 foul, not trying to get a second here in the first half.
Heckel has it knocked away by Moore. Notre Dame off the steal. Hidalgo to Moore's right. Moore can't hit. Jesus off the rebound, slides it out. Well, it might have been an opportunity for an open Hidalgo shot there, and Moore never saw her. Moore now 0 for her last 11 from 3. Hidalgo connects on a long 2. Her toes just on the line. You can see Hidalgo saying, review that one. Heckel gets around Hidalgo and lays it in. Astute tape from Heckel. Hidalgo's attention was diverted just for a moment, and Heckel took advantage.
And also, the lane was wide open because of how UConn's spacing was offensively.
Hidalgo, you bet!
She said this is her biggest area of growth this season, is knowing when to meet her teammates with that intensity.
Great stuff. Ollie and Sherelle, no doubt, has been a huge factor in Hidalgo's success. Here is Strong off on a 3. Hidalgo the rebound. UConn intentional about getting Strong a touch there out of the timeout.
Yeah, just some simple pistol action, getting her the screen to get a good look from 3.
Here's Hidalgo with space, fires. Maybe had it partially tipped. Hidalgo was looking for a whistle. Quiñonez stops and lays it in. Fudd and Strong have both looked a little tentative at times on the offensive end of this game for Connecticut. And Quiñonez has picked up the slack. Here's Hidalgo, got bumped, no whistle, no make. Quiñonez off the rebound. Zabel attacking and laying. And the Ivy will take a timeout.
She initiates into a legal defender. I agree with the no call.
Good articulation there. Thank you very much, Dee. Dee Kantner, who officiated 26 Final Fours. Here's Prosper. Gets her defender in the air. And then Quiñonez knew where the pass was coming back to. Here is Fudd. Strong mid-range is feathery for the Huskies. After Notre Dame had pulled to within 4, De Jesus on the drive gets fouled by Zabel. That'll be her second. Let's check in with Hal.
Well, Blanca Quiñonez, a freshman, is having the game of her life right now. She has got a fascinating journey. When she was just 12 years old, she was playing with the U15 team in Ecuador, her home country. Coaches from the Italian national team saw her at that very young age and convinced her and her mother to move to Italy at 13 years old. She stayed there in the dorms, was there for all these years, and then finally came back. She has been playing with the Italian national team since she was 14 or 15 years old with the senior national team.
It was Geno Auriemma.
He also was. He's been a good coach for a while. That one. Strong flags it down. You know, you don't get away with mispronunciations on this broadcast.
On this crew.
Arnold can't finish. Bransford off the miss to Jesus into the corner. Moore alone. Still can't hit. Follows it up. Feeds Prosper. How about Bransford at 3? That one is good. A 3-second difference game in shot clock. Heckel waiting, letting it wind. Shot clock all the way down, and Heckel somehow scoops it in. Wow! Almost felt like Heckel had waited too long. Let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Dixie. Sarah Strong, Azzi Fudd combined for just 10 points in that first half, their fewest in a first half this season. See what happens in the third quarter here when these teams met in the regular season. It was a 9-point game at the half, and UConn outscored Notre Dame 27-12 in the third. A trip to the Final Four on the line today. Azzi Fudd flipping it up and in off the window.
The entire action was set to get Azzi Fudd a look. First, a flare screen on the left side of the floor. Eventually, she got it back. Coach Auriemma knows she needs to be aggressive offensively for UConn to have success.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Listening to Niele Ivey's huddle at the half right now, she said, listen, a 7-point game is nothing. We are right in this. We just have to keep chipping away. The way she wants to do it is with more backdoor action. She said that they are over-jumping everything.
Cool shot here in Fort Worth for this Elite Eight matchup between UConn and Notre Dame. Second personal on Sarah Strong as Hidalgo misses the free throw. Now 0 for 2 from the line. She's an 84% free throw shooter. UConn 4 for 5 and Notre Dame 2 for 4. Before that make now 3 for 5. Hidalgo 10 points, 7 rebounds. Just 1 steal. Bud giving it up. Arnold on the drive gets fouled by Coles. And free throws here for KK Arnold.
Using her quickness to get by the defender and eventually to the free throw line.
Second foul on Coles as Arnold talked with Geno Auriemma the very first game of the season against Louisville. He said UConn's key this year would be KK Arnold, Kaylee Heckel. How they were able to organize the team if they could hit shots. They've been able to do it beautifully, at least through the first 37 games of the season.
While both bringing incredible defensive presence as well.
To Jesus, into the center of the lane, gets denied by Williams. Notre Dame wanted a whistle. Arnold feeds Strong for the lay. Largest lead of the game for UConn. It is 12.
Keep in mind, when these teams met earlier this season, 9-point game at the half, a UConn lead, and then it was an explosive third quarter that changed the game.
A 27-12 third. Here's Hidalgo. Got fouled by Arnold, and Hidalgo is going to shoot 2. Hidalgo, the first player in ACC history to win Conference Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the conference in back-to-back seasons. Who will have a big-time recruiting class around her next year. Notre Dame with 4 top 40 recruits. Only other scorers double figures in this game is Blanca Quiñonez, who will come off the bench for UConn. Here's Fudd. Fudd weaving left alone. Does not get the roll. Coles bear hugs the rebound.
Fudd missed that shot, but UConn has been very intentional coming out into this third quarter, getting her looks.
Hidalgo mid-range is good for UConn. They are 2 for 9 from 3 in this game. Quiñonez just keeps it in bounds. It's a Connecticut team that's second in the nation in three-point shooting percentage. Only Gonzaga at a higher percentage. Here's Strong, draws 2, 4 to shoot. Arnold wrapping around, misses the layup, and a whistle again. El-Alfia factor on the offensive glass. Jana El-Alfia at the line with UConn in the bonus with 4:43 still to go here in this third. And, even though Connecticut has missed 10 straight shots, Notre Dame has not really been able to take advantage. UConn has attacked the offensive glass, most notably El Alfie. And there you go again. Quiñonez the O-board. Strong will flip it up and off as UConn cannot get anything to go, and then Strong picks up a frustration foul, and it's a costly one because that's her third. Strong staying on the floor with those three. Prosper out there with three as well, those two guarding each other. Here's Hidalgo. Hidalgo sees a seam, and it's stripped by Fudd. Arnold comes up with it. Great hands from Azzi Fudd.
But smart to attack El Alfie as the one player who won that switch out on the on-ball screen.
11 straight missed field goals for UConn, second longest streak of the season. But their defense has limited Notre Dame to 5 points in this third. Quiñonez bounces. El Alfie lays it in.
Credit El Alfie. It is really hard to get limited minutes.
Notre Dame's gone 5 minutes without scoring. Prosper kicks it out. Hidalgo trying to separate from Arnold, who's done a great job on her. Hidalgo lays it in. Plus the foul. Hidalgo finally creating some daylight. Hidalgo has all 7 Notre Dame points here in this third. As KK Arnold picks up her third foul, goes to the bench for UConn. Heckel in. Hidalgo completes the three-point play. 7-point game. 2:40 to go in the third quarter of the Elite Eight. Hidalgo trying to get some pressure up into Heckel. And Hidalgo gets called for the foul there. Notre Dame over the limit. Free throws here for Kaylee Heckel. And Heckel makes the first. Holly?
They were 3 for 6 in January. They'd just gotten blown out by UConn, lost to Louisville, lost to Georgia Tech.
And both teams have struggled to shoot it from 3 in this game. UConn 2 for 9, Notre Dame 3 for 9. Here's Hidalgo, putting it on the deck, squeezes it to the corner. Moore didn't take the 3, instead misses the mid-range, and Strong the rebound. Interesting that she turned down the open corner 3 off that pass, maybe in her head after going 0 for 8 in the Sweet 16, 0 for 3 so far today. Off the double, Heckel bounces, El Alfie lays it in.
And Brian, sometimes it can also just be the way you catch the ball or the way your feet are set. You just don't have the confidence. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Wait to get it back.
El Alfie, 4 points, 3 rebounds, all here in this third after she did not play in the first half. Strong comes up with a steal as Coles tried to force it in.
El Alfie, good D on Coles to limit her vision on the pass as well.
Fudd waiting, getting instruction from Geno Auriemma. Azzi Fudd, just 6 points this afternoon. El Alfie given a lot of space. Finds Fudd, back to El Alfie. Strong a 3. Is good! Largest lead of the day for the Huskies.
Hannah Hidalgo off the ball now, but you would expect her to get the ball back, get some action where she can get a decent look at the basket.
She waits in the corner at the moment. A 7-0 UConn run to Jesus, fires and hits the 3. In an entertaining first 3 quarters. UConn has not been able to fully separate. Hidalgo knocks it away. Heckel out to Strong. Does she get the roll? No, and that'll do it for the third. 47-36 lead on Notre Dame. Fewest points through 3 quarters during the win streak. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Niele Ivey just told her team in the huddle, this is the moment we've got to go on a run. If you want to get to the Final Four, the fourth quarter, you've got to be tough. You've got to will shots to go in. We'll see if her team can execute.
All right, Holly, good stuff. Hidalgo with strong honor. Bransford met by Quiñonez. Bransford tries to get it out to Hidalgo. Strong. And is it going to be a backcourt violation before the foul? It is. Could have been a 4th foul on Strong. Instead, Was that properly adjudicated there?
I can't tell. It's last a touch, first a touch. So Strong hit it, but did Notre Dame hit it again before it went into the backcourt? That is the issue.
It was touched in the front court after the Strong deflection. That is different than how that rule is in the pros as Hidalgo gets fouled. And let's take another look, D. So Strong clearly touches it there. Is it touched by Moore before it? Yes, it is.
There's your issue. Moore touches it in the front court, then is the first one to touch in the back court. And he is correct. That is the first violation before the foul. They lucked out because it would have been a foul on Strong.
And it would have been number 4 on Strong. And by the way, you could certainly argue that's not a good rule, that if possession isn't gained.
Many of us would like it to be, once it's deflected, it is a free ball, and you do not have that last touch, first touch. Many people don't understand that rule.
Here's Fudd.
UConn used Blanca to initiate the offense just to get Hidalgo out of the way in terms of defensively.
Now Strong is fouled by Prosper. Coles will go to the line. 13 fouls apiece called on Notre Dame and UConn in this game. As Strong, her fluid offensive self today, but has made a major impact on the defensive end as she hits both free throws there.
Holly documented early on sort of the turnaround for the Notre Dame Irish this season, and most of it has happened on the defensive end of the floor. They have been very good limiting both Strong and Fudd.
Bransford gets fouled. Done an excellent job in this game holding down UConn's highly powered offense.
I think they have to unleash the Hidalgo in terms of her ability to get steals and then easy buckets the other way. But they've done an admirable job. But once again, UConn initiating with the player not guarded by Hidalgo.
Fudd, pitter-patter dribble, Strong takes the pass. Little leaner, short. Strong whacks the rebound. Fudd fakes, takes, can't hit. Shea gets a hand on it, but Hidalgo comes away with it for Notre Dame. Here's Hidalgo giving it up. Moore goes baseline and banks it in.
Hidalgo did not take the shot that time, but that's the same kind of feel. Even with the defensive board, push pace, get down quickly, try to have numbers for an easier look.
Hidalgo's 10th double-double this season, 18th of her career. 18 points, 10 boards. Those points were Moore's first. Strong connects on a 3. Sarah Strong's second triple of the day. Bransford guarded by Quiñonez. Gets the roll. Plus the foul. Tough finish from KK Bransford and a chance for 3. Neil Ivey told us Bransford would be huge for Notre Dame today, but they needed her experience and versatility. Moore off the rebound, but then Strong ties her up, and the possession arrow belongs with UConn. For Notre Dame, it's Moore, Coles, Bransford, De Jesus, and Hidalgo.
And again, keeping the ball away from Hannah Hidalgo to initiate the offense for UConn.
Strong gets it over to Fudd. Fudd guarded by Hidalgo. Quiñonez connects. Largest lead of the day for UConn. Quiñonez with 17. Can Notre Dame respond? Coles can't finish. UConn gaining control with 6:20 to go. How about the bench advantage? 29-6 in favor of the Huskies. Fudd didn't take it. Drives and finishes. Plus the foul.
Both Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd, the offensive leaders for the UConn Huskies all season long, have come alive again here in the fourth quarter. Off balance, mid-range, Azzi Fudd able to get it to drop. Little tap on the left hand, and
UConn finally getting some shots to drop as Fudd completes the three-point play. The lead is now 18 for UConn, a 9-2 run. Strong and Fudd with 10 points combined in this fourth. Moore, the leaner is good with Strong all over.
What a tough shot by Moore.
Still plenty of time left in this game.
Notre Dame's got to get stops here.
Quiñonez, you bet! A 20-point Elite Eight performance for Blanca Quiñonez, the Ecuadorian freshman. Moore, yeah. Took a trip around and got in, and now the
UConn using someone that is not being guarded by Hidalgo to initiate the offense.
Fudd on the drive, the kick. Quiñonez, not that time. Rebound knocked around, grabbed by De Jesus. Notre Dame pushing more, they need it. In and out. Quiñonez can't hang on to the rebound. There's Hidalgo. Hidalgo in a crowd, now guarded by Fudd. Hidalgo, those shifty motions, she gets fouled. And Hidalgo's going to the line to shoot two. And Connecticut, after missing 11 straight shots, has hit 8 of their last 12. Hidalgo, behind this Notre Dame run, the job she and Niele Ivey have done to get this program back into the Elite Eight this season, just fantastic work. Strong gives it up to Arnold. UConn content to run clock. And a foul here is going to be on Notre Dame. And if it's Prosper, it is her 5th. And it is number 5. Senior has another year of eligibility. She has not yet said what she is going to do. And certainly Notre Dame would hope to have her back after a terrific season this year. Here's Strong. Strong lumbering through the lane and a soft lay with the left hand. 18 for Sarah Strong, 12 of them in the second half. What a move. Hidalgo to the cup.
She said they've been the perfect blend of loving and hard on me, that they've done both, and that's helped her reach this height and be one of the greatest for UConn.
Great story, Holly, and incredible seeing what this sophomore has already accomplished. 2:30 to go, UConn by 15. Shade, letting more clock run. Shot clock at 7. Strong trying to make it happen. Strong gets fouled. And Sarah Strong is... That game will tip at 3:20 Eastern on ABC.
Eager to see how Duke defensively handles the mismatch in terms of size with Lauren Betts.
The game of theirs at Cameron Indoor towards the end of the regular season, and you and I both said at the time, this is a Final Four team, which is remarkable considering they went through a stretch to begin the year where they had lost 6 of 9 games.
Yes.
Hidalgo has it taken away by Fudd. Hidalgo trying to get it back. Nearly did. Fudd surrounded, and Hidalgo finally fouls her. A Notre Dame team that knocked off the 3 seed and the 2 seed to get here. Niele Ivey's first trip to the Elite Eight as a head coach, had plenty as an assistant. 1:50 to go in the fourth. Moore looking for a seam, got fouled by Fudd, and Ayana Moore will go to the line. Barring a basketball miracle here, one thing this run has certainly done is jolt the intrigue, interest, and excitement.
Without question. I mean, she's always been one of the most exciting players to watch in women's college basketball. And Early on in the season, it just didn't look like the normal Notre Dame team. They were dealing with injuries and other things, but they refocused on the defensive end, and certainly she has just been magnanimous all season long.
For Connecticut, what a job to mostly neutralize her as a defensive disruptor all game. Bransford knocks that away. Shot clock at 4. Strong finds Arnold out to Quiñonez. Doesn't get the roll. Bransford the rebound, and a whistle going the other way. It'll be on Strong, her 4th, with 1:11 to go. Notre Dame in this game. Geno Auriemma now on the brink of a 25th Final Four in what would be the 17th trip in the last 8. And Jeff Walls, the Louisville head coach, the other day.
The number of Final Fours that they have been to.
And about to punch their ticket to another. Strong center of the lane, fouled by Moore. Free throws here for Sarah Strong. Tied with Brianna Stewart for the most by a UConn player this century through their first 2 seasons. And Strong gets both free throws.
Roster that dealt with injuries throughout the course of the year, but got hot at the right time as they continued to build throughout the latter part of the season. And a lot for Notre Dame fans to be proud of and look forward to as well.
And a top recruiting class as well, as Moore can't hit the 3. Shade gets it ahead to Fudd. About a 7-second difference game in shot clock. And a traveling violation called against Fudd.
Timeout for substitution.
All right, they're going to call a timeout for substitution instead. And there's the ovation for Azzi Fudd, as well as Sarah Strong. Neil Ivey, always classy, applauding as well as those 2 UConn stars check out. Quiñonez is going to run this clock. Shot clock at 3. Patterson with it at 1. Hidalgo comes up with a steal. 3 seconds left. Hidalgo gets blocked, and that will do it. UConn is headed to an unprecedented 25th Final Four.